What up, fam? I thought it'd be fun to do a Dagger Condi build video and guide for Thief, Daredevil, for World versus World. It also works in PvP. The only difference in PvP is that you run the Carrion Amulet instead of the other stuff. But everything else is the same that I'm going to show you. So you just run the Carrion Amulet, but you're going to run the same... Everything else is going to be the same for a PvP build for this, and I do play it in PvP. But I'll show you the World vs. World version. And I'm just going to hang out here for a few. Maybe some fights will happen, but I'll just hang out here. So, we're going to start off letting you know, it's Dagger. The Dagger auto attack chain is very important. And the reason is, it gives you bleed on the second hit and poison on the third hit. And the poison is quite strong. So you're going to use the auto attack chain quite a bit in fights. You're not really going to use Heartseeker. You can use this if you're chasing somebody down and you have enough initiative, but you're not going to use it very often. Maybe occasionally if somebody lays down a smoke field or something, you blind smoke field, you might use it for stealth, but you're not going to use it very much. You're going to use Death Blossom a lot in your fighting because of the bleed damage. Really strong. You're also going to use Dancing Dagger occasionally, but not often. You'll use this sometimes maybe for chasing somebody down, get some cripple, little torment. It's not really that good to use very often. One occasional poking from far away, but you're not going to use it very much. Cloak and Dagger you're going to use when you want to stomp somebody for the most part. But that's pretty much it. You're not going to use it most of the time. So most of the time you're going to be using 1 and 3. Because 3 uses a lot of initiative. It uses 5 initiative. And you don't have that much initiative. I'm running this build in 2 different ways. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But you have to really manage your initiative with this build because, as you can see, if I use Death Blossom twice, I have to wait to use it a 3rd time. Unless I'm running the Trickery version of the build, then I have enough to do 3. Now, I'm running Signet of Malice because as I strike, I'm going to heal myself. And as you can see, with Death Blossom, you're doing 3 strikes. You're also going to use the auto attack chain a lot. And you can heal yourself for quite a bit. So you only are ever going to activate this skill if you're, like, about to die. Here's somebody here. This guy might try to... I don't know if this guy's coming over to fight me or what. Alright, anyway. We've got Roll for Initiative. Roll for Initiative is nice because it breaks stun and gives you some initiative back. So that's a good thing for the build. We also have Scorpion Wire. And the reason we like to run Scorpion Wire is, 1, we're in World vs. World. You can pull people. 2, we're Dagger. We don't have another weapon on swap, so if you fight somebody ranged, this can be really helpful to pull them to you. Also, our Steel, the version of Steel we're using, it doesn't daze them, so we have no way to interrupt people besides using this. We also have Shadow Step, because Shadow Step is one of the most useful skills that we have. It allows us to teleport, break stun, it also cures conditions. It's just so useful. And then Dagger Storm does a ton of damage with bleed and cripple, but what's really good about this is because of Signet of Malice, it's almost like a healing skill. Okay, let's go. What is this guy doing over here? Let's go check on this guy. Let's go make sure he's okay. What are you doing, buddy? You all good? Alright, let's fight him. Why not? Oh, he cut Scorpion Wire him and he went behind the pole. What is he doing? Is this guy serious right now? Really? Good grief. Alright, so there we go. I just cloaked and daggered so I could get the stomp. And that way he can't interrupt me. I don't know what that guy was doing. That was just a ridiculous fight. Anyway, so let me go back to my spot. I just wanted to check on that guy, make sure he was okay. So, basically... And this skill is not that useful, but it does reflect missiles. So sometimes I'll keep it on me, so if a Deadeye starts trying to shoot me or something, I can use it. But anyway, you saw that Scorpion Wire. He went behind that pole, so it actually got blocked. I was going to try to demonstrate how it pulls them. It's nice because it interrupts people, and you can pull them to you. So you can kind of make these combos where you basically use Scorpion Wire, and then as it pulls them to you, you can Death Blossom, and it locks them into getting all 3 of the hits, which is really strong. So, very strong. I don't recommend using anything else on here. You can experiment with this. If you don't like using Scorpion Wire, there's some other options. You can use Prepare 1,000 Needles, and it does a ton of damage and can really, really trick people. You can also run the Impairing Daggers, and it does a ton of damage as well. If you're running the Trickery version of the build, then Impairing Daggers and 1,000 Needles can be useful for the extra damage. But now let's talk about the actual setup here. So first we'll talk about the equipment. It's all Trailblazer. So you're running full Trailblazer gear with the Superior Rune of the Trapper. The Superior Rune of the Trapper is nice because it gives you condition damage and duration. There are some other options. I think it's like, maybe it's Necromancer, Superior Rune of the, might be Necromancer. There's one that gives you condition damage and vitality. Some people like that because when you're running the Trailblazer build, you see how I have 18,000 and so HP. If you run the other rune, I think you can end up with closer to 20,000 HP or something. But I like the extra condition duration, because as you can see, I've got 57% here, and then 62% on the poison, which is nice. So, really good damage, and then I have the +5 condition damage, Malign, World vs. World Infusion on everything. Daggers, you only need to have 2 daggers, because you're going to have them on swap. So, I'm running the Trailblazers, and one of the daggers has the Sigil of Energy. The other one has the Sigil of Doom. The Sigil of Doom is nice because every time you swap weapons, your next attack will inflict 3 stacks of poison. So it gives you extra poison damage. But then also you got the Sigil of Energy, so you gain 50% of your endurance when you swap weapons. Same thing over here. Trinkets, they're all Trailblazer. I do have for the rune here, or sorry, the relic, not rune, relic. I have the Relic of the Fractal. Now, there's 2 viable options in my opinion. There are other options too, like there's some survivability ones, but I don't think they're worth it. You need damage on this build, because survivability is not a problem. You need a lot of damage. So, the Fractal gives you the most burst damage. It has a 20-second cooldown, but it's pretty sweet because when you inflict 6 stacks of bleeding on the enemy, you then inflict Burning and Torment, and it's 2 stacks of Torment, the 1 stack of Burning. The Burning is nice because it's a ton of damage that you get to inflict on them, but then also it's an extra condition that's doing damage. So the nice thing with that is, like, let's say I'm using my Death Blossom and my Poison. Well, now I've inflicted them with Bleed, Poison, Torment, and Burning. And then usually they've got Cripple. There's so many conditions that sometimes when they clear, they still have the Burning on them. Now, the other option would be the Mirage. If you run the Mirage, it can actually add a lot of damage, because the Relic of the Mirage, every time you successfully evade an attack, you're going to inflict Torment on them. This can be really strong, and it's debatable on which one is better. It definitely is debatable. I've tested both, and I really can't detect too much of a difference. Basically, the Relic of the Mirage is more constant pressure, but it's less burst. And sometimes you need that extra burst, especially when you're fighting heavy Condi cleanse people. Now, the actual build itself is pretty straightforward. There's 2 different versions of the build. This is the version I like the most. It runs Deadly Arts, Acrobatics, and Daredevil. Now, the Acrobatics and Daredevil aren't going to change, so I'll go over those first. Here, wait, what do we got over here? Let me see what we got here so I can... What do we got? Can we go fight this guy? Nah, he's running away. Never mind. Alright. I was going to try to fight that guy, demonstrate some fights here, and I will go find some fights in a little bit. So what you have here is... Obviously, the endurance skills, you get more endurance, so that's always useful. Gives you the extra endurance bar. You've got the Escapist Fortitude, so this is going to help you gain health and remove a condition whenever you evade an attack. Really useful. So it kind of helps you with staying alive because of the healing and removing conditions, and you're always dodging on this build and evading with Death Blossom and with your dodge. Weakening Strikes is nice because after you dodge, you're going to cause weakness. So this is helpful for keeping us alive because, again, it's going to make people have less dodges against us. Make them have the 50% fumble. So that's a really useful skill. Also, you get the damage reduction. Havoc Specialist doesn't really do anything for us because we don't really care about having a damage increase here. But none of these are really going to do anything because the Pulmonary Impact, this is kind of nice because when you interrupt people, basically you can make it so that you get to do this extra damage. But I don't know if it's really worth it because this is probably more constant damage. You're going to gain endurance when you successfully steal, so that's useful. And then the Lotus Dodge, this is part of our damage. The Lotus Dodge is really nice because every time you dodge, you're going to hurt people with Bleeding, Torment, and Cripple. And the Cripple is useful because it makes people slow to move around. And like you're constantly inflicting this on them, and we're getting plus condition damage. So this helps add a ton of damage to the build. I've tested it with the dash dodge for the mobility, and it's just not good. This is such a crucial part of the build. It's also a whirl finisher, and so is Death Blossom. So if somebody like lays down a fire field or something like that, or poison, it's pretty sweet because now you're throwing burning bolts, which does extra damage. So really useful, especially in team fights. Now, when you're running, you run acrobatics here, so we're going to gain swiftness on dodging. That is crucial. We have to have this. We're also going to remove a damaging condition whenever we dodge, so that's useful too. So when you combine this with Escapist Fortitude, we're basically cleansing all of our conditions as we play. Now, you don't need the other stuff. We're going to gain Vigor whenever we successfully evade an attack for 3 seconds. Now, it's not a ton of Vigor. It's only 3 seconds, but it only has a 1 second cooldown. So you're going to have Vigor a lot of the time that you're fighting. Not all the time, but a lot of the time you will. You're also going to have Guarded Initiation. This is like what makes this build actually work well now. Because now, when you use Death Blossom, which is a movement skill, so that's number 3, you're going to get resistance for 2 seconds. So if you're immobilized, you can use this and it will actually give you 2 seconds of resistance so that the immobilized basically is pretty much worn off by the time this wears off. So really useful. It doesn't have that long of a cooldown, 5 seconds. Now obviously you can also, here, let me get off my mount. But you can also run Roll for Initiative if you need to, and that'll take off immobilized. If you really need to in a pinch, you can use that. I recommend saving it for stuns, or if you're really like needing a get out of jail free card, because we don't have withdraw on the build, so Roll for Initiative does help. Fluid Strikes, you don't really need this that much, it just adds a little damage, but we're not doing much damage because we have no power on this build. And then this one is really useful, and this is, nowadays, Thief has gotten nerfed so many times, and our initiative cost is so high in PvP and World versus World on our skills that we pretty much have to run Acrobatics or Shadow Arts. Otherwise, we just suffer. I mean, there's maybe a few other builds that kind of work, but most of the builds nowadays, you have to run either Shadow Arts or Acrobatics because you need to gain initiative back. So this one helps because you're going to gain initiative whenever you dodge, and you're going to gain initiative and regeneration when you evade an attack. So as you're dodging and evading, you're going to get some pretty nice regeneration of your moves and be able to do Death Blossom pretty quickly. Because you can only do it twice because we're not running Trickery, so we only have 12 initiative. Now, we're going to run Deadly Arts. Stealing is going to inflict poison. Also, this is, while you're in a down state, your attacks apply poison. This is super useful. Because if you're running the Trickery version of the build and you go into a down state, you do no damage because you have no power on the build. So this has actually saved me a few times where, you know, I was like beating somebody and I downed them, and then I was low on HP and they downed me, and then I end up being able to still kill them with this. This one, inflict poison when striking a foe with a dual wield attack. So this makes our Death Blossom also do poison. And it also gives us plus 120 condition damage, which is super useful. We're going to also weaken targets when we poison them. So that is helpful. We want to be able to do that. So we're going to be weakening targets all the time, because we're going to be weakening targets when we poison them on a 10-second cooldown. But then we're also going to be doing weakness when after dodging. So pretty sweet. We're going to be constantly implying weakness to people. When we immobilize somebody, we are going to inflict poison, And basically, whenever they get to 50% health and we hit them, it immobilizes them and poisons them. So it's a useful move because it stops people from running away from you. And it kind of like makes people panic. When you immobilize people, they always panic. So it's pretty useful. And then we're going to deal increased strike damage, which is, again, not that big of a deal. But then this one's helpful. This makes our poison do 20% more damage. And the 5% increase is just honestly absurd. It used to be higher. They nerfed it in PvP and World vs. World to where the poison duration is 5% more. I'm like, really? That's like the most ridiculous. Like, what? Why even have that at that point? And the damage increase, I think, used to be 33%, but now it's only 20. So not great, but it's okay. But it also applies an additional stack of poison on the Deadly Arts moves, so that's helpful. Now, the acro version is like this. The acro trickery version is like this. So the acrobatics is all the same, Daredevil's all the same, but it applies trickery. Now, again, if you hover over this, you're going to get vigor on here and might and bleeding, but you're not going to have poison on here, and you will get initiative and boon stolen. So there's some useful stuff with trickery here. You also get more initiative. So if you run it with trickery, stealing will give you 2 initiative, which is very useful. You also can get this move, which when you dodge, it's going to drop a field right there, and that field will apply bleeding cripple, so that's useful. You're also going to increase your maximum initiative and increase your expertise, which is useful because we want our expertise to be increased because more duration. So if we go over and look at this now, our condition duration is higher because we have plus 150 on it now, so it's at 67%, so that is useful. Bountiful Theft is nice because when you steal, you're going to take 2 boons, which can be very useful in a fight. But also, it's going to give you Vigor for 10 seconds. And so that's nice. And you get a little bit of Might. The Might doesn't do that much extra, but the Vigor is nice because basically when you're running the Trickery version, you're going to have Vigor like almost the entire time you're fighting people. You get the lead attacks, which gives you a little bit more condition damage, so that's useful as well. And then, of course, you get Deadly Ambush, which makes your bleed damage a lot stronger, and you apply bleeding. So the thing is, if you're running this version of the build, it's still very strong. It's honestly debatable of which version is better. Some people like this version better. I think this version has more survivability because you get more Vigor uptime. You also can attack more because you have more initiative. And then when you steal, you gain initiative. And your steal is a little bit reduced recharge. It's at 21.25 seconds because of, which one is it? One of these. I think it's this one. Yeah, this one reduces the recharge of steal a little bit. So your steal is a little bit, it's not 25 seconds. Instead, it's like 21.25. So some people like this version of the build better. And I've tested both. I like this version a lot. But the only poison you're going to get is when you swap weapons. So it's not, in my opinion, as ideal. You know, so I think if you're running this version, you really do want to run this relic so that you can get the burning on there. And because you're not going to apply as much poison at all. You are going to apply poison with your auto attacks. You are going to get it when you swap weapons. But I think this does a lot less damage. When I run the Deadly Arts version, I feel like I just do a lot more damage. But it has a little less survivability because you can't dodge as often with the Death Blossom. You're not getting any initiative back when you steal. So you have to... Oh, also the food. Holographic Super Cakes. These are going to give you faster endurance regeneration, plus you're going to gain health every second. So it kind of is nice because it kind of stacks with this. And then also the Tuning Crystal. You got to run that so you can get some good condition damage. So let's take a look at some gameplay here. And basically the idea is that you're going to steal often. Don't just run into a fight and lead with steal every time, though, because they're going to expect that on Thieves. Most people just expect Thieves to do that because it's just like, it's kind of what Thieves do. They start running towards you, and everyone knows that they can shadow step steal right to you or whatever. So you can, sometimes you can trick people. You can shadow step to them, right? You can use shadow step instead of steal, and it tricks them into thinking that you stole, and they'll dodge, and then you can start attacking, and they've wasted a dodge, which can be really useful. So, and then you could even use it, they dodge, and then you steal. So that's kind of a good idea, but you have a lot of options. I want to see if I can find a fight here. Alright, so what I was going to say is that while I run around and look for some fights, maybe this isn't the best place to be. There's a couple of commanders on here right now, so might not be the best place to be. Alright, I see some people there. That seems like several people, so this might not be the best move, but I'll go fight. I'll go fight these people, even if there's a bunch of them. Maybe that's a bad choice, actually. I'll probably just get straight to both if I do that. How many is there? Yeah, man. I'm gonna lose that fight if I go. Oh, someone's porting. Okay. Here, I'll wait and see what these people do. Let's see if somebody, maybe one of them will be slow. Okay. Oh, someone ported. Okay. Let's go and fight these guys. So there's only 2 of them. I'll just try to. I probably won't win against 2 because one of them is playing Ritualist, and right now a lot of these builds are completely broken. A lot of these new specs, and Ritualist seems to be one of them that's going to probably get some pretty serious nerfs from what I've seen. Also, that new Elementalist one probably going to get some nerfs. I mean, some of these builds are just like ridiculous at this point. Okay, I think they ported. Oh, no, there's a couple guys in there. Maybe if I go over here. Anyway, what I was going to say is that when you fight, what you're going to want to do is use Death Blossom and dodge, but you don't want to just spam. You don't want to just spam. You need to be careful. All right, is this guy? What's this guy about up here? We can fight this guy. Here, let's fight. Here, we'll just go run up to him. Port? No, there. We'll go see if this guy wants to fight. Is he serious right now? This guy, what a cornball. Seriously? Alright. So, yeah, the Ritualist is pretty broken still, so we'll see how it goes, but... So, you see what I'm doing? I'm kind of weaving in different attacks. I'm going to interrupt him right there. I'm going to interrupt him again. His buddy is here, so... This might not end well for me, but I'm just going to fight it out anyway. It's fun. Yeah, buddy's here, so it makes it a little harder. But I might still win. Yeah, I don't think. Alright, we're just going to have to jet because I'm going to lose that fight. Yeah, I'm gonna lose that fight. So let's troll. How many is there? Yeah, there's too many of them. I'm not gonna win that fight, so I'm just gonna back off because I don't feel like getting stomped, and then I have to port all the way back. So I would have won that fight against that Ritualist, but his buddy showed up. But you can kind of see, like, that guy had a lot of Condi cleanse, but you could see me just applying pressure, and the way that you fight is just like that. You wanna. He was trying to kite me, so it was a little harder. If you got someone that's more melee, like a warrior or somebody like that, then you can weave in your auto attacks a lot more often. But that guy was here. I'll show you on the sentry what I mean. So I'm not going to use steel on this right now, but I'm just going to show you how you can fight. So you're gonna, as you start fighting. So let this guy hit me, so I'll show you this. So you see I have a Death Blossom, and that uses the resistance. Weave in a little auto attack, dodge, swap weapons, get some endurance back, and then also have my Doom set up. That guy died too fast, but you see the idea. And that's how you do it. Your rotation is pretty much a mixture of dodges, Death Blossoms, auto attacks, and swapping weapons at the right time. Now, you have to be careful because you don't have a lot of initiative. You can't just be randomly spamming your dodge and spamming your Death Blossom and getting away with it, because when you're fighting against a smart enemy who's actually good at the game, they're going to start to pay attention to the way that you're dodging. And they're going to start to look at where you're landing. And they're going to just move out of the way. Because what they're gonna do is, like, you're gonna go like this, and they're gonna see where you're gonna land, and they're just gonna kite right out of the way, and they're just gonna move. And if they're just going, even if they're just going like this while they're fighting you, you're kind of gonna have a hard time fighting them. And that is the whole point of why. What is this guy up to? That's the whole point of why the scorpion wire is useful, because the scorpion wire is gonna let you pull people. Sneak around, pull people. You can use it like this. Here, watch. I'll show you on this guy. So I'll use it on this guy. And then, well, he died on the way to me. I was going to pull that guy and show you, but as he pulls to you, you can Death Blossom and hit him, and it does a ton of damage, so it can be really useful. And I like it. Oh, let me see if I can go get into some fights. There's too many people over here, so I'm going to go look for a fight. And I'll just keep talking about the build while we go, because you know what? Why not? Now, you will find some hard counters. So, if you come across a Deadeye that is playing a rifle Deadeye that is that's using stealth, you're gonna get punished pretty hard. Because they can go stealth all the time, and then they can get far away from you and shoot you. And you only have 2 scorpion wires. The cooldown isn't super fast on those. So you really got to make sure that you get your scorpion wire to work. If you miss it, you're gonna get pretty hammered. And then, like, yeah, you might be able to get away with using steel support to them, you know, here and there. And that's great and everything, but, like, you're gonna be able to, like, steal to them, but they're just going to keep kiting you, and it can be really challenging. Now, you do have Dagger Storm, which will reflect missiles, so if you time it right, sometimes you can catch a Deadeye when they're trying to hit you with some rapid-fire shots. I forget the name of the move. It might even just be called rapid fire. I don't remember. But if you use that on them, it can be pretty good and pretty strong. All right, so what is this guy? Oh, Deadeye. I was just talking about Deadeye. See, this is a rifle Deadeye right here. This is what you would... You know, usually they're going to be pretty hard counters on you, but you can win. Like, I can win against a lot of Deadeyes. It's just a hard fight. And, like, a really, really good one is probably going to win against me on this build. Just how it is. So watch this. So... I was going to use it, but the guy died too fast again. These guys are annoying to blind you. I want to show, I'll try to show one of the combos. Hopefully we can get these guys to come after us. Oh, these guys are taking the tower, so I'll probably run over there in a second. 5 seconds. Yep, fine. This guy up the house. Good. So, if you're running the Acro Trickery version, so I guess we can call it the Deadly Arts version and the Trickery version. If you're running the Trickery version, it's a little bit more forgiving, because you got an extra Death Blossom, and you can get initiative back easily with Steel, and Steel's on a reduced recharge, so you're gonna have your more initiative overall. So if you miss a Death Blossom, it's not the end of the world. And you're going to have more dodges because you're going to have more vigor uptime on the Trickery version. So the Trickery version is a little bit more like you can be a little bit worse at playing this build and still make it work, because it's more spammy, right? Like, you can just spam without really, like, having to worry too much. And you see what I'm doing here? That was just way too fast. But anyway, you want to time your weapon swaps. You really want to time these. You want your weapon swaps to basically use them pretty quickly when they're ready, but make sure that your endurance is drained a bit. Like, don't use them with full endurance. Try to actually take advantage of it. Like, get a few dodges off, you know, get like 2 dodges off, and then use your weapon swap, so that you actually get full endurance when you swap. That's what you want to be doing. And with so you want to be using your weapon swap often. You want to be really making sure of that, because you really need to proc the Doom Sigil. And with the Trickery version, it's very much mandatory, because you need that poison on there. You need that poison. You've got to make sure that you get those auto attacks in. Like, people want to just spam dodge and Death Blossom, but you really need to get those auto attacks in. I fought a guy the other day that was running this build. Actually, if you watch some of the videos, I think there's a few fights. There's another fight I ran into with a guy. It was before I had my legendaries, and he had legendaries, and I beat him. And if you watch what was happening on the fight, he was just spamming Death Blossom and dodge. Alright, let's see what this guy's about. Alright. So I tried to use the stomp, but he got me. Alright, there we go. This guy came up at the end, but pretty much had already killed this dude at that point. If Deadeye probably shot him, but whatever. I was gonna win that fight pretty obviously. So see, the whole point of the build is that it overwhelms the enemy with conditions. Your defense is attacking. It's like your survivability is determined by your attacking, because as you attack, you heal yourself. So the idea behind this build is like, it's kind of like you're playing very aggressively. It's an aggressive attack. That's the whole point. It's not like a counter puncher. You know, like when I play staff, or like power builds on a thief, it's a lot more about like counter punching, like trying to like evade damage and trick people into using their moves and that sort of thing. This is different. This is way different. There's no fights here, so maybe I can go somewhere else and try to get a fight somewhere else. I was gonna say I could go to EBG, but here, let's just see. Everywhere's got a queue. Yeah, it's kind of annoying. I was gonna say we could go to EBG, but the problem with EBG is it's hard to actually get like a 1v1 or even a 1v2. It's just like all Zerg. I don't really want to. Sometimes you can find people that'll duel and that sort of thing, but there's always so many Zergs. You can play this build in a Zerg, by the way. You just got to be real careful with where you're standing and your positioning, because you can totally Death Blossom in the Zerg. You're pretty tanky with the Trailblazer, so as long as they got good healers, it can actually work pretty decently. Okay, here we go. Let's see what this guy's about. Who's this? Alright, so this is a Reaper. So Reapers can be a tough matchup sometimes depending on their build. So let's go see what this guy is running. We'll find out. If we can catch him. He seems to be on a mission to go up to the top here. What is he doing? What is he up to? He just going for the monument, I guess? Alright. Yeah, so this guy looks like he might be a position build. We're gonna trick him. Alright. We're just gonna try to overwhelm him. Oh, I was gonna try to interrupt the heal, but I don't even think that was just... So see right there, he tried to fear me. Not gonna work because I hit him with the cloak and dagger before I stomped him. And that's basically how you play it. That guy didn't do pretty much any damage to me. I don't know what that was about. I want to find like a good fight. That fight that I was in before with the Ritualist was pretty good. It was going to go on for a little bit because he had some good Condi cleanse. You will get countered sometimes. And that's what I was saying before. You will get countered by certain builds. So Deadeye is a pretty tough counter. I'll try to say most thief builds you'll completely smoke them. I will say a couple of hard matchups. If you come across a good acro staff or acro spear thief, they can be tough because they have the Condi cleanse on dodge and they're running acrobatics, so they're going to cleanse a lot of conditions just by dodging. So you got to be very strategic. So if I'm fighting a thief, a daredevil specifically, and I know, or like a thief that I know is running daredevil and acrobatics or something, I know they're going to condition cleanse like most of the fight as they dodge. So I'm not just going to spam attacks. What I'll do is I'll lay conditions on, and I'll kind of back off sometimes and watch their condition bar, and I'll reapply my conditions to them over and over. But I won't just keep spamming, because if I keep spamming attacks, all they have to do is dodge, and then I'll basically cleanse their conditions for them. So you got to be aware of that. You have to know that about other thieves. What are these guys about? We got 2 here. I'll just fight these guys. I don't think I'll win fighting 2, but sometimes you just gotta play the game anyway. Have a little fun. Alright, well, we got 1 down. So watch this. So I'm gonna heal myself basically to full by using Dagger Storm right there. There's a lot of condition fields on the ground here, so I might be able to rally. There we go. I knew that I could get a rally off if I was careful. Alright. I don't even know. Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't even know if, oh, shoot. Oh, boy. Well, we might die. This is where we use that. Alright, well, whatever. Might as well just die here. Did we almost get 1 down? Alright. I almost killed those guys. I probably should have just fought them. I might have actually won that fight. Well, we killed 2 while fighting in that camp, so you saw how that works. But, yeah, you're not gonna... I mean, like, yeah, you can kill 2 like I did. And I knew I was gonna rally because they had the other guy was really low on HP. I think I rallied off of one of the guards, or one of the scouts dying, but it didn't matter because I was gonna kill the soul beast or whatever it was, either way. Because he was at like 7% HP when I got downed. But the problem was I ran out, I was on all my cooldowns. Like I didn't have roll for initiative. And I could have shadow stepped out of there. And I wouldn't have been downed in the first place on that, from that, whatever that guy was that I was fighting against, the Necro I think it was. But I didn't shadow step out. Instead I just fought the guy anyway. And I didn't have time to, use it to clear conditions. Oh, here's that guy again. So let's fight him. This is the guy I just killed. So we'll stomp him. Oh, for real? The thing that's annoying about Necros is that they're like so strong on the ground. Like, one thing that I feel like, there's a couple of things that I still feel like are kind of broken in this game. One is that some of the down states, like the Necro down state is way too strong. I've thought this since the game came out. Like, Necros are just like way too strong when they're down. I feel the same way about Guardians to some extent. And I'll heal this, or I'll res this guy in a second. I also feel like the warrior, I hate that warrior down state. If you ever fight a warrior, stomp them, because they have that stupid move where they can come back to life for a little while, and it's super annoying. Yeah, it's just super annoying. So if you ever fight a warrior, always stomp him. Alright. Alright, let me go and see what else we can find. But basically, you see the idea. Like, you want to overwhelm the enemy. And if you're running the version I'm running here, the Deadly Arts version, again, it is a more skillful version because you're really gimped a little bit as a thief not running trickery. I've been arguing, most of us that play Thief have been arguing since the beginning that 15 initiative should just be base Thief initiative, and that trickery shouldn't add initiative. It should just do other stuff. Like, maybe just like, like the whole like, oh, you get 3 extra initiative from trickery, that should just be base, and they should just change that stat, or change that skill to do something else, or that trait to do something else, I mean. And then that way, we would have a lot more option with our builds. But, you know, alright, let's see, what do we got here? Alright, this is a core necro. So this guy probably be pretty strong. They usually have a lot of, some of these guys can spam fear. So we'll interrupt him there. He's gonna try to, alright, we got that other guy again. Got a lot of bleed on me right now. So I'm gonna use that heal. We're gonna interrupt here. There we go. Now he's down. And now we got steal on this guy. This guy. We'll just interrupt him. Interrupt him again. There we go. So you want the thing that's fun about necros is that you can interrupt them with their own fear. What is this guy doing? Oh, these guys again? I'm just gonna let these guys come over here. Here, actually, you know what? I'll go fight them. I don't even know what these guys are running, but these are the guys I almost killed before. There we go. The other guy, I think, ran. I didn't want to let my man get busted here, but I think he had it covered. Oh, this guy. He thought he was slick. He thought he was slick coming over here like that. Alright. These guys suck. I almost killed them before. When I fought 1v2, and then those are the guys that chased me down, and I almost killed them. Just hilarious, because I almost won basically against 4. What do we got here? Is this that guy again? Is this that guy again? Yeah, it is. This guy serious? I like feel bad even fighting him, to be honest. He's just getting smoked over and over again, but oh well. He's back, so whatever. Sorry, bro. He's got a funny name. He just has 2 brackets. Really? Are you really going to hide in there? Oh, he's going to port, I think. He's really going to... See if I can pull him out. Whatever. I guess we can fight him here. Kind of like one way to do it. It's kind of annoying, but it's like I'm stuck inside of a... I can't get out of here. Claustrophobic or something. Ready for more. I feel furious. And yes, I'm only ranked 290 in World versus World. I took a long break from the game, and honestly, I never was ranking up that much back in the day because I would just run around and fight people 1v1 from when I used to play a lot. Like, I was just getting to fights, and I wouldn't really capture points that much. But now I really play World vs. World more like a normal World vs. World player. More like a roamer. Oh, is this guy... Are you serious, man? Just why? Just why? Like, just why? I'm going to use steel on him. What is he doing? What is the thing with that? Like, I guess that guy just likes getting killed. I don't know. Alright. Well, let's see if I can fight something a little harder. Alright, I was talking about counters. You're gonna have a hard time against certain elementalists. Some elementalists are very good at condition cleansing themselves throughout the whole fight. And they'll punish you if you're not good. So you are at a pretty big disadvantage sometimes when you come across a really, really good one. Like, if you come across a really good Weaver, you're going to struggle. You are going to struggle against them. They are a pretty good counter. Now, it's funny because the builds that are good at killing me on this are the builds that I'm good at killing at on my staff build. Like, if I'm playing Acro Staff, I don't have any problem with Deadeyes at all. And I definitely don't have any problem with Weavers either. But if I'm playing this condition build, I have a problem with both. It's a melee condition build, and it does struggle with those. So, just, you know, just letting you know that. Some other stuff that's tough. Whatever that new Revenant thing is, I forget what it's called. Conduit, I think, something like that. It's pretty broken right now, and that's probably getting nerfed. The condition version of that build is, like, totally broken right now and is hard to fight against for, I think, literally everybody because it's pretty broken. So that's probably going to get nerfed. That can be a tough matchup. I'm trying to think if there's any matchups that I can think of that are pretty hard. Oh, you know what? Hollowsmith. If you're not careful against a good Hollowsmith, you'll run into some issues. Not the power-based ones. The power-based Hollowsmiths aren't so bad, but I fought one recently that was kind of like a Condi sort of hybrid, and he was super tanky and super strong. That can be a tough matchup, you know. But for the most part, I think you'll see. Like, for the most part, you're going to be able to smoke people on this build, as long as you're smart about it and you don't just, like, come in spamming the whole time. Because that's the thing. People think that this build is just constant spam, but it's not. You have to be... Yes, you are attacking a lot, but it's not just spam, spam, spam over and over, because you'll get killed. Like, if you fight a good warrior... Oh, that's another one. Spellbreakers. Good spellbreakers are tough. Here. Okay, these can be tough, too, actually. These can be tough sometimes. So let's fight this guy, and we'll see. He'll heal it. You gonna fight me, or what? Oh, I have another guy. Okay. I was gonna say, like, I feel like I'm doing way too much damage here. But, what do we got here? Oh, this guy, I played with this guy yesterday. Yeah, I played with this guy yesterday. He's a pretty cool dude, actually. He's not playing the, what is this thing? Oh, it's engineers. So with engineers, you can use that move. That gives a little confusion, which is nice. I don't really know this new build that these guys are playing yet, but run this guy down. See if we can catch him. I don't want to get stuck on the terrain right there. Happened to me last week. Ah, this guy. But yeah, this guy, I was actually partied with this guy yesterday for a little while. He's a pretty cool dude. Alright, so anyway, I'm not gonna keep this video is gonna end up being like an hour long if I don't wrap it up soon. So I think I covered the bulk of what is to cover. I think the only other stuff I'd say that's worth, like, noting is just, like, overall, you're gonna find that this build does not have nearly as much survivability as a Thief build usually does. Because yes, you have swiftness, right? Yes, you have swiftness. But the problem is you don't have a whole lot of other ways to get around. Oh, there he is. Alright, so yeah, this guy's cool anyway. Same thing as yesterday. Yeah, this guy's cool. He's a roamer, just like me. So, and he's got a lot of mobility. He's got more mobility than me. And that's what you're gonna find with this. Now, I have mobility with Shadow Step. Yeah, I guess I could show you the underwater. Sometimes I use the Thieves Guild underwater because I think it's hilarious if you just drop that on people. It's the only time I use it because I'm not good at playing in the water, to be honest with you. It's like, I find it confusing, to be a little bit confusing. I never really played PvE for the most part. I played a tiny bit, but I'm mostly just a PvP player and world versus world player. So like the underwater stuff is not common, obviously, because it doesn't even exist in PvP. See someone over there? Yeah. Alright, so let's eat some food here. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the mobility. So mobility is gonna be tough. Sometimes if you're running away from somebody, you gotta be careful because, this is actually a confusing thing about this build. If you try to go into stealth, like let's say you're fighting against a thief or something, and you want to go into stealth from their steal skill, or, have a lot of mobility sometimes, but... See that burning bolts? That's what I love when I play with these conduit guys. They drop in the fire field and I get the burning bolts. That is nice. It's a good combo. Same thing when you play with like berserkers. If they drop those fire fields down, man, it's pretty sweet. Because now your Death Blossom and your dodges just do so much damage after that. Pretty sweet. Alright. So I like to do this. I'm going to drop this field right here. Get a little confounding bolts. That can start to do a lot of damage when you drop it on people, especially in PvP when you're in like the close quarters. Alright. Yeah, we're getting all these... dropping all these fields. It's pretty nice. I like... These conduits are pretty cool, to be honest. They do seem a little overpowered right now, but they are pretty cool, I gotta say. And their skill animations are cool. I really do like them. I will say that Elementalist is a little bit broken right now. The new Elementalist build that's out. Man, it can be frustrating to fight against a little bit. But hey, man, give him something. Ellie has a hard time. He runs power builds mostly, but he does still drop fields that I can use, which is kind of nice. Yeah, I actually like, though, I like it playing with a power build like this because he can do power, I can do Condi, it works perfect. So yeah, so as you can see, like this thing works really well solo. It also works really well in a duo like this or like a small group. It's really perfect for roaming. Now I will say, like, your mobility's not ideal. If you're used to playing a thief with stealth, you can get away from pretty much anything. Or if you're used to playing a daredevil build that uses like dash, you can get away, or even if you don't use dash but you use stealth, it's like, you know, you just don't really have that on this build. Now if you are trying to run away, you can use Dagger 5 on something. So like if you're in World vs. World, you can use like Dagger 5 on like a MOA or something and you steal and Dagger 5 to them. But just be careful because if you dodge roll, you'll do Lotus Dodge, which does damage, and it will take you out of stealth. That's actually what I did before when I got ran down by those guys. I made a mistake when I was getting run down, but after I killed those two guys and those other two ran me down, I actually used Dagger 5 on one of their pets, I think it was, and then I accidentally dodge rolled, and it did damage and revealed me. If I didn't do that, I could have ran away and probably had some more space to get away from them, which would have been nice because then I could have probably had some like cooldowns come back. But you know, that's okay. I'm gonna make mistakes sometimes when I play too. Can't play everything perfect. All right, so. got a firebrand. These guys can be. You really got to be careful with when you're fighting the guardians, especially like the firebrands. They have a lot of cleanse. You just got to really pressure them hard to win that fight. Be careful also with like scorpion wire because there's so much passive blocking in this game now, and like, oh, like now they got the block buff, whatever the block buff is, invul and reflect, and all that sort of stuff, and it can get really annoying. So just make sure that you're careful about that stuff. But I think that's it, man. That's everything. That's the whole guide, really, to playing this build, playing this style. People will try to get mad at you for it. Whatever. It's not overpowered. Literally, I've been playing this build for a long time. It's like the only way to really play Dagger. What is going on here? Alright. It's like the only way to really play Dagger, in my opinion. Trying to play Dagger on power is just straight terrible. And it's fun. Like, we want to play Thief on Dagger. It's not overpowered. You will get countered by people that are good. You fight a really good warrior, they're going to time your landing and then stun you. And they have so many stuns that you're going to have a hard time. I had a fight against one of the new warriors yesterday, whatever the new spec is that they're running. And it was pretty sweet. But that guy had so many stuns. I won the fight, but it took a while. He was clearing conditions. He was getting all this. He was stun locking me. But I ended up winning the fight. But it's definitely a tough matchup against good warriors. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it, fam. Alright, I'm going to wrap up here so that this thing doesn't end up going over an hour. But good times. Hopefully you like the build. If you got questions, drop them in the comments below. Hit me up. If you want to message me in game, I have my account tag where you can send me a message in game. No, I'm not doing Discords or anything like that right now. But if you want to message me in game, you can. Just check check my bio on YouTube and it has my info. All right. Well, I don't think we should run into that, my guy. He was running straight for it. Like, I don't think so, man. Well, probably get out of here, man. Probably get out of here, bro. Get out of here, bro. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Play more Thief. Don't worry about it. All the nerfs that we've had over time, which there's been a lot. And don't worry about everything else. Don't worry about some stuff being overtuned. We can still have a lot of fun on this. I got other builds that work. You know, I got power, acro staff that works, dagger pistol that works. You know, you can play sword dagger. I just don't really like it that much. I was playing axe dagger for a little while. Axe pistol. They all work. You can make pretty much all of them work. I don't like Deadeye. I really only like to play Daredevil builds, to be honest. I messed around a little bit with some core Thief builds, but I really just like playing Daredevil. I like the extra dodge and like the dodge mechanic changing. I just think it's really cool. A more fun playstyle. But like pistol dagger, like there's all kinds of builds that work. Dagger is just my personal favorite because I just think it's cool. I like having the double legendaries. Before that I had the other stuff. What do we got here? All right, we got a couple of guys here. What do we got? We got one of those elementalists. So I guess we'll keep this going then. We'll just get in this last fight. I might wrap up the video here, but if this chase takes forever, yeah, this is not gonna. He's gonna try to snipe this guy, and we're gonna get smoked with it. Whatever. Have a little fun. Have a little bit of fun here. I'll try to pull this guy if I can get close enough. See if we fight him. Oh, dude, he's gonna get exposed. He wants to sneak up on him. I think it's fun. Alright, whatever. It's worth it. It's worth it. If I get close enough, I'll pull him with scorpion wire. We've done that. We did that yesterday. He would run up and start a fight with somebody, and then I would pull him with scorpion wire, and we would just try to knock him out and stomp them before the group came after us. We trolled a few groups like that yesterday. It was kind of funny. Funny that I ran into this guy just in a random spot again. Alright, so... Oh, he's fighting this thief, looks like. No.
Swift and steady.
That thief's dead. Wait, no way. Did he survive? Where'd he go?
Attack my target.
I guess he ran back in. Oh, he got stomped. Jeez. So we have a guy over here or not? Okay. And there we go. And that's why we like scorpion wire. Let's actually steal from this guy.
Back at it.
The reason I stole from him
Safe from harm.
is that can be pretty useful. So we're gonna.
Never surrender, Steve. There's nothing to fear.
Well, it was worth messing around, but I don't know. Did he survive? Nah, he didn't survive. I don't think so, at least. Well, good times, everybody. Good times. We trolled them at the end there, but, you know, I probably should have ran there, but it was fun. It was fun to mess around. But, hey, that's it for the video. Definitely like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one, fam. Peace.